Looks like we're good. And we are back. Tonight is an exciting event where we're going to be working on the Starliner, one of the upcoming capsules I'm going to be building for my Starcraft pack. Not Starcraft, I guess Starship pack. I don't know. Spacecraft. There we go. Eventually get spacecraft and pack all together, and we're good to go. So for those of you not in the know or watching this on the replay, let me know in comments if you have any questions. But basically, since I've been building the additional launch vehicle pack, I now need things to actually launch into orbit. And that is what I'm going to be working on next. And tonight we're going to be starting that off with the Starliner from Boeing, mainly because I already have the Orion. Yeah, so the Starliner is made by Boeing. So we're going to make a inspired version of that in Spaceflight Simulator. Now, the Starliner actually launches on an Atlas V, so we have this whole setup that we actually need. Good news, though, as part of the additional launch vehicle pack, I already have the Atlas V primed and ready for the Starliner to be put right here on top, with all the fun bells and whistles. Where am I here? Oh, shoot. Oh, there we go. So we got that there. And quickly going over it, this is generally the mission profile that we need to have the Starliner do. So this whole part here is just the Atlas rocket. We get up to this point here where we get to number 5. Now, number 5 apparently has it where the ascent cover jettisons, although I've heard in later versions it actually just flips open. We also have it where there's a skirt that gets jettisoned that's on the Starliner that we have to make as well. And if I look through here, yep, number 9, that just kicks it off and it goes there. So we're pretty good on that. The Starliner actually is made up of a lot of pieces in real life. And I can't scroll it. There we go. So we have the ascent cover, we have the forward heat shield, we have parachutes, we have the reusable service module, we have a heat shield, a service module very similar to Orion. There is a service module. And then we have the launch abort engines, which are actually the RS-88. And fun story, those are actually not only the launch abort engines, those are the main engines of the service module. So they're not boosters. They're going to have to be real engines using liquid fuel. So that's going to be a fun one to be put in here. So that is going to be crazy. In addition, I have no idea what this ring is going around the entire outside of the craft. Some notes it says radiators, some notes it says this whole thing is radiators. I don't know, but we'll have to figure out how to make that look in Spaceflight Simulator. And overall, these are all the pieces that we need. Now, I've been looking at this pretty intently the last day or two when coming up to the stream, and generally the way I see this going is, and there's also a solar array at the bottom. No surprise there. So power for the spacecraft will be having it where it generates electricity. I'm just going to have it generate electricity all the time because there's no way I can really show the solar array on the bottom of the spacecraft. The launch abort engines will be separate little engines. That'll be very high torque. I have the stats here at the top. Scroll all the way up. They do 18 tons of thrust in Spaceflight Simulator. So they're a little crazy, but that was all the information I could find out about those rockets. So that'll be a fun one to put in. And then we have the service module. We'll have the heat shield. We'll have the actual crew module. And then the forward heat shield and descent cover, I'm probably going to have separate because just the way that game mechanics work, that probably makes sense. So first click on the reusable service module will probably eject the service module and the forward heat shield and the ascent cover, and any clicking on the forward heat shield or ascent cover will basically open and close the ascent cover. I think that's how we're going to do it. If that sounds weird to you and you have a better idea, let me know, but that's sort of what I came up with. And again, everything is negotiable when we're doing this. So that's what we're up to. And as always, if I just pop this into Spaceflight Simulator for a second, that's what it's going to look like, but with a crew capsule on top once we finish building it. So that is this. Now, I know some people are wondering where is the additional launch vehicle pack. I'm hoping to have it out tomorrow. I found out that there's been a couple. The way I made some of the stuff was a bit iffy, so I've had to make some changes to some of the pack pieces. I had made them more for if I go here and grab something. Let's grab. Yeah, we'll grab the ICPS. Is the ICPS? No, not this one. Hang on. Yeah, we'll grab this one here. So this guy here used to be like, had a width of like 5.4 or something like that. Or yeah, this one was 3.75 or some silly number like that, and that was the accurate number. But what I've done is I've gone through the pack and made it where it's like evened out to 4 meters or like 5.5 or 8.5 or whatever, because I was running into problems where that 0.1 or 0.4 was causing problems in the game. I don't 100% know why, but sitting it to the grid made those problems disappear. And for your ease and enjoyment, I've gone and slightly made all the tanks and everything else either a little bit wider or a little bit smaller. I know it's not real life accurate, but game mechanics, this works out a lot. So this works out really well. So I'm hoping the pack will be out tomorrow. I have a list of things to do, and that list is 1, 2, 3, 4 things long. And they're not big things other than the one item, which I think I've come up with a solution. I just have to apply it to like 5 different items that it applies to. Sometimes when you do copy pasta, things that are wrong get copied several times, and you have to go fix them all. So that is what we're going with. If you are on mobile, I'm seeing one person saying they're on mobile. The rumor is Steph has a pack coming out on, I think it was Titan 2 or Mercury Redstone, I think is what it's called. I believe that's coming out on Friday. And I know that Prime 252 is working on his pack. I think his aim is Sunday. After the live stream here on Sunday, we're going to kick you over to his premiere. And that's the Starship pack. So this week, you're getting somewhere in the range of, I think, 50 or 60 rockets. So plenty to play with starting on Monday of next week. You're going to have more rockets than you're going to know what you're going to do with. So let's get into the build. This is going to be relatively straightforward because it's not that complicated an object, but it does have some interesting quirks and queries with it. So to make things simple, I'm just going to steal the Orion capsule because, yeah, it's already made. And that's one thing you learn. So we're going to grab Pico's Orion. So this is the first Orion that we made. I'm going to duplicate that, and then I'm going to call it Starliner. And I should probably put it in another folder, but let's do that for a second. I can always create new folders on the live stream. Here's a new folder. What are we going to call this one? It's called Spacecraft. There we go. And we're going to go paste. And there we go. So first thing I'm going to do, and it sounds terrible, but I'm actually going to go make sure I can turn off this stuff. All this visual stuff is going to go bye-bye because we don't need it. Docking port, we don't need it. The capsule latch, that's down there. We kind of need it, but not right now. And I need to get rid of, oh, that's the jets. Okay, so, and then the RCS system, we'll keep it for now, but we'll just toggle it off because we don't need it. And I still have these weird squares. Where did these squares come from? I go like that. I can delete that one. And that one's caused because I went and did a little indent, so there's actually a back capsule behind it. Starliner does not have that, so we can get rid of that. And then we can also get rid of this and this. And what else do we have here? I think that's it. This has got a fancy script to it. It does. So we can remove this. There we go. We actually probably remove both, but we're going to go to basic because I think Starliner's just white. White, and we're going to strip the color out of it. There we go. And that's sort of our beginning point for Starliner. We will definitely make some stuff up for it a bit later. And obviously, since this is going to be a new pack, putting it into the Artemis pack isn't going to be super helpful. So we're going to go here. We're going to create a new asset bundle. And you're going to watch me struggle with this asset bundle thing here because it hates me so much to actually work. I'm on. In hindsight, I should have done this before the stream. Oh, we got, okay, so SFS. No, it's just gonna, don't put the letter S in there. Come on. Why is it not letting me type? That just added asset level. Labels S. No, it didn't. Okay, good. This is the fight. The fight for. There we go. Pico, and we're gonna call this space. Space. Oh, come on. Craft. There we go. Awesome. So we now have a bundle called Spacecraft. Now, we'll work on making that bundle a little bit later, but we're going to make this oddly shaped white thing into Starliner. So I'm going to move all this over onto my second screen so I can refer to it. If you guys want, you can just simply type in Starliner Boeing and you can get a whole bunch of pictures, etc. If you're wondering which one I'm going to probably use, I'm probably going to be using this one for reference with the hatch on the side. Let me know if you think that's a good idea or if you want me to put the hatch on the front. The only reason why I don't like putting the hatch on the front is because in that rotation, all these RCS jets and everything else like that end up actually being off to the side and you don't see them. So that's sort of the trade-off. Do you want RCS jets or do you want the hatch? Jets, hatch, jet, you know, go for it. Let me know in the comments. So we're just going to move that over here. I do have some sizing, surprising. So it is 4.56 meters at the bottom. So we're actually going to go to the bottom here, which is 0, 0. And we're going to go 4.56. Now, again, similar to the other one, I don't want to use off numbers. So I'm actually just going to go 4.5. It's a little bit smaller than in real life, but that makes my life so much easier when I'm putting everything together. And if you want to put this into other rockets, you can do that and adjust it to 4.5, where to 4.56, you're going to potentially cause some problems. And then we're going to look at this. And then this guy here doesn't actually have any weird angles on it like the other one does. And it goes all the way up to the top. And the top, what did I put down on my list? I put my list as a 2 nominal. I think that's what we came up with. And it is, how high? How high is it? Oh, I wrote these numbers down. It is a height of 3 meters. That sounds kind of right. So theoretically, it should be that. And we know we're going to actually leave that there for right now. Okay, so that's there. And that's probably all we need to do per se for the look. Obviously, we're going to make it look nicer, but I'm just trying to get the sizing to make sure the sizing's correct. And I'm going to go back and double check my numbers because that looks a little too tall and not wide enough. Because the whole thing is supposed to be 198 inches. Well, you know, if in doubt, internet helps a lot. Let's go. How high is it? Tells me the diameter, tells me the volume, doesn't tell me how high it is. One of these did. Awesome. I had a picture of it somewhere here, which told me it. Because that looks a lot wider than it does tall. I think it's 3 meters, but it includes the heat shield. Yep, that's what it is. I'm pretty sure that includes the heat shield and the top cone. So we're going to take, what, half a meter off for the top cone and half a meter off for the heat shield. I think that's what we'll do, which then puts us down to 2 meters, which I think that looks better. So we're going to go with 2 meters. If I need to, I will fix it a little bit later, but let's get into building all the pieces for the Starliner. So we have the Starliner itself. We have the parachute holder, which is currently too high, so we're going to bring it down to 2. That's this little circle here. There's no big reason why we need to go and remove that. Go and redo the parachutes because they're very similar to the Orion. First, you have your giant drag chute, which comes out, doesn't do too much. 2 will then pop out the 3 smaller parachutes, and then it lands on the ground. And I do know this is supposed to have a shoot, what's it called? Balloons on the bottom. So I will add those a little bit later, possibly off stream, just because they'll take some time to put together, etc. So we'll not worry too much about that. Next thing we need to do is we do need a heat shield. Obviously this, we do need a heat shield for this. So I'm going to create a prefab, and I'm just going to call this Starliner construct. This is not actually going to be used in the game or anything, but it allows me to do this, which is drop the pieces in like so. So I can actually construct the Starliner, so I can make sure all the pieces fit together. I'll never actually put this prefab in game. This is what will go into game and all the other pieces, but this allows me to sort of see what I'm doing and make sure that what I'm doing actually all adds up together. It's a neat little trick I learned after doing it the wrong way for such a long time. So we're going to go to parts, and we're going to be looking for a heat shield. Where is our heat shield? Now we have 2 options. Well, no, we have apparently 16 different versions of heat shield. I don't know why, but okay. We're just going to grab one. We're going to grab one, and it's called heat shield, and we're going to take it back to our pack, which we called spacecraft. So it's going to be down here, and we're going to paste it in here, and we end up with heat shield, and we're going to call this now Starliner HS for heat shield. It's not that clever, but go for it. And we'll add it into our here, and you can see here that we added the heat shield. Got a little bit of a problem. The heat shield is too small, so we got to make this heat shield bigger to fit the bottom of Starliner. So right now it's too wide. It needs to be 2.5 wide. So right, 4 wide. It needs to be, no, we said 5, 4.5. That's what it was. So we're gonna go back to the heat shield here. The heat shield, because I copied it, comes with a whole pile of different variants. We're just gonna delete them all. Delete them all, delete them all, delete them all. And then we're gonna go up here and we're gonna say 4.5, because that's the width. And then we're gonna hit apply variant. And it's gonna hopefully make it. Nope. It's gonna be, why is that not doing it? If I go back here, it's still small. All right. So, oh, because it's using with original, right? Okay, so this ends up doing this. We got to go down here, 4.5, 4.5, and now we apply the variant. Now it's there. Yeah. Sometimes the code has with original, and it kicks out with based on coding down here, particularly in the adapt trigger and the adapt module code. So sometimes you have to just manually push that, and it'll go. And then we can see here, there we go. We now have a heat shield on the bottom of Orion. And this heat shield, if I got it correctly, should be the right thing. So what is this lower surface? So we have a check surface, but we're just going to create an empty. We'll just make sure it's 0, 0, 0. There we go. And we're going to call this surface. And this is important because we want to make sure that whatever we build is going to fit into the service module that we're building next. Because if we don't do that, then bad things happen. We're just going to pick -1. We're going to say -0.5, 1, 0.5, we'll hit edit, we'll hit view, 0.5, there we go. And we see here that it is slightly bigger than 0.5. So this is where we're going to go in here, and we're going to make a slight change to this because we don't want the heat shield to be too big, because if it is, it's not going to be happy. And this is all coded in there. Goody. All right, so that's going to be a little bit more complicated than we thought, because I can just do that. Oops, I can't do that on that one. Hang on. This is what we're going to do. So we know the line's there. We're going to go here, and we're going to go 0.9. Then we're going to check with the line. Okay, now it's smaller. Bit of a cheat, but I'm going to take it. And then we can get rid of this line. That way we know that when we build the spacecraft, it only needs to be 0.5 deep, and this heat shield will fit in it. Hopefully that makes sense with it going. So there we go. So let's jump into this here, double check. So there we go. So we have the Starliner, we have the Starliner heat shield, and now we need to build the service module. Or at least get the service module pieces, then we'll build out all the cool stuff that we're going to add into it. So we're going to go back up here to the additional launch vehicle pack, and we're going to borrow the EMS, which is the European Space Module. This is what Orion is using, and the reason we're copying and taking it is because it has all the controls and everything set up already in it, and you can see that here with an excessive amount of parts. So we're gonna grab that and we're gonna put that into spacecraft like so, and then we're gonna call this the Starliner service. Well, we're gonna call it SM service module. There we go. Now, the service module looks a lot different than the other one. So if we go back here, and I think I have it in Excel, this is what the service module looks like. So it's a square. Now we know the capsule itself is 4.5 meters because we determined that. I know that this service module is actually 5 meters in diameter. I found it out somewhere else. So there's a little bit of a gap over here for how this gets all put together. And this piece here, right at the top, actually merges the two pieces together. So that's what we're going to end up doing. And then we have all this crazy stuff hanging off the thing. So, oops, I want to go back there. And this whole thing is 198 inches. So we're going to do the favorite, Google. 198 inches, 2 meters. Comes out to 5 meters. We're going to take 5 meters. All right, so if we'd already said the cent cover is going to be 0.5 meter up here, that's 2.5 meters. The bottom is there, so that's 3 meters. That means that this here is the actual service module is only going to be 2 meters tall. So we can quickly just go delete this, delete this. We can get rid of, I didn't necessarily want to get rid of that back there. We don't need these anymore. We don't need this. Yeah, we're just stripping stuff right off this thing. Oops, come on. There we go. And what else do we have there? We don't need this piping anymore. Get rid of the piping. We do want to keep the RCS system because we're going to have to add that back in. And we know here at the very top, it's going to be, what do we say, 4.5? 4.5, and the bottom is 5, and the bottom is 5. It is a bit wider than the other one. And we generate a mesh, and we know it's got that weird texture on it. So if we go here, we can find it. So it says edges smooth and whatnot. We're just gonna go here. So edges smooth. We're gonna look back at our picture. Sure, it looks smooth at the top. It's got the lines, and then it's got the bottom. Okay. So we're gonna take this guy here. We're gonna duplicate him. We're gonna slide him to the bottom. We're gonna give him 0.5. That adds our smoothness on the bottom that we have over here. You can see it. Yay. And we're actually gonna change this to metal. because it's clearly metal. Which metal do we want to use? We're going to use metal 4. And we're just going to change that to metal 4. Metal 4. And metal 4. So that gives us our more modularly look. We're going to have to change this in a second because that's got to be changed slightly. That's going to be 1.75, like so. Oh, no, we have to do this slightly different. So hang on. Yeah, I have to get rid of the top. Top gone, and the top is gone, and this is 0.75, like that. And I'll explain why in a second as we just, oops, continue to try to just clean this up. There we go. And we get rid of that as well. Okay. So what do we have? Doing pretty good. We can go back to here. We can drag this on here. We'll go 0. We'll go 0. And we have to go down, what, 2? I think we said if it's 2, we got to go down at -2. We'll add that attachment point in a second. That'll attach the bottom of the heat shield. But that's sort of what the Starliner looks like. Exhibit A. Oops, let's make this a little bit smaller. Go over. There we go. And sort of Exhibit A, Exhibit B. So we still need to make the cap. We still need to make the latch, and we still have to make the connector. And then obviously we have to convert a lot of other stuff. Now it has this weird line stuff. So we're going to do that quickly by picking over here. And instead of rivets, I'm going to go with, I think we're calling it capsule. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate to what we end up with. All right, so back to the service module. We have the RCS system, the engine holder, all that stuff there. Solar panels were gone. We don't have them. The solar panel's on the back, so we're not going to worry about that. Capsule engine tank. So this we do need. Is that in the right spot? It is, but it's too big. What? 4.5, so it's 2.25 by 2.25. Okay. And then we have the surface bottom. Don't actually need that one, but we'll put it down here. Yeah, so that will be 2. No. What did I say? 1.75? 1.75 by 1.75. This is in case somebody wants to use this for something else and they have something sitting on the bottom. It'll also get ejected. So we'll do that. We're going to hide the RCS system for a moment. There we go. And we'll hide the engine holders. Okay. And we're going to take the fuel tank and we're going to copy it. And the only reason to do this is just because it's easier. And this is going to be the tank section. This is what's actually going to connect. We're going to change it from parts to non-colliding parts. This is important because we don't want it to actually collide with anything. It's going to go 2. We said 4.5. And this is 1.75. So it's going to be like that. We're going to remove all this advanced coding. We're going to go back to basics. And we're just going to go pick here smooth, flat smooth. I like flat smooth. And color wise, again, we're going to go back to that metal. And I believe we picked number 4. There we go. So if we look at our Starliner right now, this is what it looks like. That's pretty good. Now, it doesn't actually have to go all the way up to the top. We do kind of want to see the heat shield a little bit. I think we do in the photo. We do. So instead of whatever number I said, 2, we're just going to go to math, fun times. So we're going to pick halfway. So 2 plus 1.75 divided by 2 is not the right number. That's equal to, I want the other way around. 1.75. No. Plus 2 divided by 2. Yeah, 1.8. Okay, there we go. That makes much more sense. Okay. 875. Okay. Generate the mesh. And we go over here, and there we go. So that is our Starliner with the service module on the bottom, which is essentially a giant fuel tank and RCS system. We're going to add the launch abort engines in a second. And then we're going to also add the cap at the top, which requires the... Oh, shoot, what's it called? Hang on. It needs the docking port, and I took it off, didn't I? So I took the docking port off when I added it, but we need to add that back because it's the same actual docking port. So let's go get that docking port off the, I think we called it PICO. There we go. So here's the docking port. We want that. We're going to call port docking port. We're going to copy that. We're going to go back here, and yeah, this is something you do a lot in this, is going and basically once you make something, you copy paste it onto pretty much everything you're doing. The only thing you have to do, whoops. The only thing you have to be careful of when you're doing this, you can delete unpack that, is that if you do make an error in your code, it's going to go everywhere. So that can always be a little bit of a problem. So this is the port. It has all the docking code in it, if I remember correctly. Docking port, yeah. So all the docking port code is in here. The only thing that isn't in here is the detach, to detach for this. So we're going to figure that out in a little bit. But for right now, that's what we've got as a docking port. So we need the top port. Now, I don't actually have a top port that I've built before. So I'm going to actually make that from scratch because it's a new object. It's partly why I left it for last. So if you want to make a new object, you're going to go to new prefab. Here we go. We're going to call it Starliner. What's it called? Port? Docking port? No, it had a special name. Accent cover and what? What's it called? It's just an accent cover. No, forward heat shield, and I guess it's called the accent cover. All right. Accent cover. All right, so here's the accent cover. Obviously, there's nothing there. We're going to just add some, add some variables in here that I know we need. In Spaceflight Simulator, you always need a part. Part always needs a name. So accent cover, and this is top of capsules. It needs a mass. We're just going to call it 0.1 for right now. Center of mass, I'm going to say 0, 0. We need to add a component called orientation module. This is if you want to rotate things in the game. So you can make them look good in Unity and then have them rotate in the game so they're rotated. That's kind of useful, but I generally just make everything normal. And then you need a variable module. Add those in like so. And then you have to go here, you have to add a variant. And here's where we're going to add, we're going to add it to. We're going to say, no, we're going to delete that. We're going to tag it as a category 6. And then we're going to say 20. And I should probably do that for all the items here. 1 second. Yeah, let's just do that. We're just going to throw it in category 6 right now. I will say priority is 20. We'll move it around afterwards. I just don't want to have to play hunt and peck for items once we get into the game for actually making sure this stuff actually works. Always important to make sure stuff works. And I'm just putting in 6 wide because it's an easy one to do. Okay, so next thing we have is accent cover. So we're going to create an empty. We're going to change it from, we should probably change the whole thing, make sure it is parts, not default. Yes. Default doesn't always work. And we're going to call this the hatch. And the hatch we know is going to be a custom pipe because custom pipe pretty much everything. unless you're making a polygon, and then you want a mesh, and we want the pipe mesh. Okay, so the pipe mesh, we're going to pick hatch data. Color-wise, what color is that hatch? I think it ends up being white. We're just going to say white for right now. Color white. And the shape, again, we're just going to pick flat smooth. I just picked flat smooth for pretty much everything. If that sounds good to you, let me know. And we're going to go with that. So quickly checking the chat. So yeah, the additional launch vehicle pack should be out tomorrow. I ran into a couple little snafus in testing. A big thanks to, oh, where are they? I'm going to forget their name because that's my brain today. Old Space Nerd. He actually went through and built all the rockets, all this other stuff like this. He's been testing everything quite a bit. So big shout out to him for thanks on that one, because he found, I think, all the mistakes. So you're actually getting a really nice pack that hopefully has 0 mistakes in it, or at least as close to 0 as we can make it. So that's what we're going to go with here. And we're just going to add this here. We're going to add some roundness to it a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Generate the mesh. Never seem to get these parts at the top well put together. Duplicate that element and drag it up. There we go. That. Okay. And then we're going to go back here to our Starliner, and we'll go here. And we'll pop our cover on the top at 2 and at 0. There you go. Now, does that look like what we're supposed to have, minus all the, cool looking stuff? That looks right. I'm noticing it's gray, not white at the top, so I can change that. We have to add in the thruster dog houses, and we have to add the engines on the bottom. So we're going to quickly do the engines next, because engines are always fun, and I'm going to have to create a color mesh or something for the surface of the Starliner, and then obviously we got to change where the latch system is. But overall, that looks pretty close. I'm not seeing any major, oh my goodness, errors. So I think that's good. Let me know what you think. And so we'll change this to gray. So we're going to click on the hatch. We're going to go down here to the color data in the mesh. We're going to click here and we're going to pick Gray. Gray is spelled Gray in this game, not Grey. And it comes out looking like that. Maybe a little too dark, but that's fine for now. You know what? No, let's call it, it's not gray. Let's call it metal 4. Let's just put it as metal as well. So here we go. We're going to go metal 4. Yeah, that looks a lot better. There we go. Okay, so other than the latch in the wrong spot and stuff, we got that. So we're going to need an engine. So now, here's the only problem with the engine. This is the Abort engine, and the only piece of information I got for it that I looked up was that it was something like 176 176.6 ton force, pound force, pound force, so 167,000 pound force, which ends up coming out to being approximately 18 ton thrust in the game. And apparently there's an ethanol version which is 22.4 ton thrust. So this engine has basically 2 power levels in it, although for this particular situation we're using the 18 because they're using hyperglycol because it's less likely to explode, which is always a good thing when you are putting it into a vessel that's supposed to carry people. Things not exploding is always good when people are around. So That's going to do good. Less than a fortnight left on your Odin subscription. Time is ticking. Yeah, I know. So Odin, you can get a 90-day trial, and then when the trial ends, you need to buy it for $55. So that's coming up very quickly for me. So I'm trying to get everything done that I want to get done before that trial comes up. And then we'll see what comes up next. I know I do want to do some actual game mods. If you go onto the forum and you look up, I think it's called hazards. I have a whole bunch of hazards I want to throw into the game. Basically, make it more difficult without being too random. But yeah, right now I'm just trying to work on the Eclipse mod, and that's kicking my butt right now. So we'll see how much of that I can get done. So without further ado, we need an engine. So let's pop over to engines, which is over here. And we're going to want probably a small engine because this is not a very big engine. And I don't have any real... Can't use this guy because this engine, by the way, actually runs on an RCS toggle control. Fun note on that one. That would be the worst engine to put into this vessel. This is the RD850, and then it's rotated for the Atlas because the Atlas fires it sideways. I'm going to combine those two so they toggle back and forth. And this guy here, we could possibly use him. But I want something a little easier because this is not a big fancy engine. It's a very basic engine. So let's steal this guy here maybe. Yeah, let's steal him. Because I want the double code. Because we're gonna have to double this engine. Because there's two of them. There's 4 engines in this thing, and we only have 2 of them showing. So let's do that. So we're gonna copy it. I'm gonna put it back into engines a little bit later, but for right now, we're gonna put it over here. So this is the Abort engine. And I need to come up with a cool name, some bird name. Somebody come up with something for this. And this is the RS-88 Abort engine. Okay. So all the code is here. I just need to make it look nice. Because right now, if we go back here and we drag it in, it's too big. It is way too big. -2. And we're going to say here 2, no, 1, 1.5. Okay. Duplicate that, and we're going to say this one here is that negative. So right now, obviously, the engine is too big, so we're going to make the engine smaller. We're going to correct it for this. I don't know how well this engine's supposed to go, but since it's an Abort engine, I'm going to basically assume that its ISP and everything else is garbage. This thing is just designed to be small and high powered and weigh pretty much nothing. Oh, I did find out that the engines are supposed to weigh 1 ton. I did find that out. So we're going to go over here. We're going to switch it for right now. We'll leave it an engine pick. We can pick it up. What do we got? Penguin, ostrich, emu, seagull. Ooh, all right. We could do penguin. I like penguin. I'm not sure I'd call it the ostrich engine. I have some ideas. The ostrich engine, I like that name. The only thing I don't like about ostrich engine is because that sounds like something's going to stick its head out. So that's probably a good name for like side engines or the pocket engines I'm working on secretly that I just accidentally told everybody. Yeah. That's because they pop out, like their heads popping out of the sand or something like that. So we'll figure that one out for a second here. But we do need to make this a lot smaller, and we do need to adjust the engine variables. So given that the engines are, yeah, like this is a 10, this engine here is 10 and it's big. So this is gonna be 18 and it's tiny. I'm gonna give it 150 on the ISP. It's not great, but then it's an Abort engine. It's an Abort engine, let's be honest. The thrust is going to be 0.5 or negative 0.5 because I'm going to make this engine only 1 high. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna make it even smaller than that. Let's go 2.5 here. And thrust normal there. Go. Cool. So that's gonna be our engine. And we got toucan, mallard. Oh my god. Are you just looking up a book and just coming up with all the different things? No, the Dragon engine is going to be slightly different. The Dragon engine, actually, I'm working on is going to actually be for the actual Dragon capsule. So I'm keeping Dragon engine for that. Um, all right, so without any craziness here, we're just going to pick. We got the Peacock engine, Penguin. Somebody else said Penguin. I'm seeing Penguin a couple times. I think it's the same person, Kevin Penguin, is keeps saying Penguin. Oh, okay. Mallard, Penguin, Penguin, Dragon, 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 Penguin. Okay. Yes, Prime 252 knows his birds. Right, so we're going to go with Penguin engine. Ta-da. That's what we're going to go with. Why? Because somebody is spamming the whole thing, and let's just go with that. Don't spam, by the way, but anyhow. So we're going to call it the Penguin engine. It's small, it's a piece of garbage, but man, does it have a lot of thrust for its small size, which is going to be like a penguin. How tall is a penguin? Let's go find out. Sorry, I have to do this. How tall is a penguin? Penguins? Okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. An emperor penguin is 1 meter. I did not realize that. Oh, no, we got. How big are penguins? We got a whole list here. Let's see if we can get this. I just want the picture. There we go. There you go. This is how big the penguins are. So most penguins are 70 centimeters high. I'm going to say that. So let's see here. When I sound like a penguin. Awesome. All right, so we're going to pick 75 centimeters because that's the closest to the 0.25 gridish kind of thing I'm doing. So how big is the penguins? Somewhere around the African or the, no, I guess it's the royal penguin. We're probably picking a royal penguin here. So with this color scheme here, black with a little yellow on it, then white, and then I would say maybe red feet, white feet. I don't know. They all have interesting feet. That's what we're going to build. This is the penguin engine. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to delete most of this stuff because this engine is relatively simple. So we're going to go and just do some nice coloring. I need to make it small first. That's the first thing I have to do. This nozzle needs to be a lot smaller. So we're actually going to delete most of this nozzle. We're going to rebuild it in a second. Don't worry. I just want to get down to, and we're going to bring that up here. I'm going to bring that up here. And I said, what, 0.75? Position. Oh, this is, zero that out. It's always annoying. So that's going to be negative 0.25, negative 0.5, and negative 0.75. That is completely backwards, isn't it? Yes, it is. Shoot. Do. And now it's going to crash. It's going to crash on me. No, don't crash. Don't crash. Don't crash yet. Okay, we saved it. If you cross the lines, things crash. No, we didn't save it. That's a table thump on that one. Rip in the chat. So yeah, so when this happens, this is what you have to do. Control Alt Delete Task Manager, which is opening up on my other window. You find Unity and you go like this and you axe it. You axe it hardcore and you're just like, now you're dead. Awesome. And then you go back to the hub and you reopen Unity and you hope that you can go back and fix it. So we're going to load it up there. Okay, so it's going to reload the whole project. We're going to go back to our spacecraft where we've hidden that abort engine. There it is. It's now much smaller and probably horribly, horribly broken. Nope, it's horribly broken. Come on. Don't do that to me. Welcome to Editing 101 with Unity. When you make a boo-boo, it makes you pay for it. Oh. So when you make an engine, you can only see the plume. In the Unity here, it'll only show if you have a plume, it'll only show the plume. Like if you have like RCS engines, or if you have, it'll only show the plumes. Those are sprites. I don't know why it does that, and why it only shows blue boxes for everything else rather than a preview of what you're doing. But yeah, that's 100% normal and annoying. All right, so we're going back to the abort engine, and we're hoping to somehow fix that by quickly going here and going like this. Remove component. Boom. Okay, that solved the problem. Don't crash on me. Don't crash on me. I deleted the whole thing. Okay. So we're going to have to add the mesh back in, and we're going to have to delete a lot of stuff. Well, we'll see. So we're going to say here, pipe, we're going to go back to our custom pipe. We're going to add it back in. We're going to scroll it all the way to the top. We're going to try to drop it in here. There we go. Custom pipe. We're going to pick the nozzle. Okay, so it just created a new custom pipe for us for the nozzle. And then we're going to go back here. We're going to pick the nozzle again. And we're going to pick here the nozzle and just basically put it back in. Everything else seems to be pretty happy. Yeah, okay, cool. So there's our nozzle. It's back, but it's in the wrong spot, but that's okay. We probably don't need this. Yeah, I'm gonna delete that. We'll keep that because that's always useful. And we're going to go up here, and we're just going to move the nozzle down to 0.75. There we go. And then the top one here, we're going to move it here to about there. We're going to change this to 0.001. And we're going to call this negative 0.05. Nope. 0.5, 0.5. There we go. Generate the mesh. It's not going to be that big, though. It's going to be pretty small. So we're going to bring it down here, and I want this one to be 0.25. This is going to be 0.5, and this is going to be 0.5. That makes sense. Generate the mesh. There we go. All right, so we're building this nozzle. It's going to be very, very small because penguins are small. And that's why we went with penguin rather than like peacock or ostrich. So there we go, generate the mesh. And that's probably going to be looking up the photo again. Let's scroll down here until we find the picture of the nozzles. So they flare out a little bit. Okay. We can do that. So the base is going to be even smaller. Okay. Generate the mesh. There we go. Got here, we're going to pull them up to about right there. And this is subject to however I want to make it look. If you look at the RS-88 engine, where is it? How big are penguins? RS-88 engine. This one image. Just give you an idea. That literally is what it looks like. And this is like the only picture online I could find of it is this picture right here. So it's basically just black with this neat streaming effect and this cone, which we should probably copy that image and put it into the document here because we're going to refer to it a couple times. Oh no, it's going to... Cool. So tonight's theme is totally destroyed. So how do you turn the plume off? You toggle it off. So like you go over here, you go to the plume holder, you go toggle off. Now the plume's off, which actually makes it a little easier for us when we're doing this kind of stuff. So we're gonna go up here and we're gonna call it the Kevin Penguin Engine. Somebody asked for it, they got it. Let's just making people happy. At least not mad. Okay, so we're going to make this, I'm going to make it a little bit, because it's not too crazy to generate there. We're going to delete most of this color because it's actually just a black engine. So we just go here to basic. We're going to call this here black. Well, actually, we'll do it white, and we will go here to do basic, and we're going to pick the color as black. And this is actually not black, like black. This color here, it's about 60 on a 255 integer scale, which is used for not integers, but oh shoot, a variable that only goes up to 255. This is 65 by 65, or gray 65 by 65, and this is like 15 by 15, something like that. And then we said we're going to make the top here slightly yellow because the penguins are slightly yellow at the top. There we go. Make it a little bit more yellow. Somebody's going to complain and be like, it's too yellow, but meh, whatever. It's the Penguin Engine. All right. And we should probably add some white in here at some point, but we'll leave it for that. 2 seconds here. Yeah, so we're going to go back to our Starliner over here. So that's what it currently looks like. Does that look anything like what it should right now? My thinking is I need to indent the engines a little bit. So the engine flares out more on the yellow. Okay. So we can definitely do that. And on the Starliner, the engines are slightly angled left and right. Okay. And they only pop out a little bit. So we're going to go back to the service module here. And we're going to not do that on this. We're going to go to the actual service module. So the engines are only popping a little bit out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to do something called interior exterior. So this is the interior or the exterior look of the Starliner. Includes these two parts here, the fuel tank and the top section. We're actually going to create a empty, we're going to call this the interior, like so. We're going to go 0. I don't know why it does this. 0, 0, 0. Always double check this, otherwise it's a nightmare to fix. And then we're going to create a new, and we're going to call this one exterior. There we go. And the exterior, we're going to put the fuel tank and everything else like this. And we're going to call this here. Oh, see, that's what you can't do. Take them out. I don't know why it does it. If somebody knows why, let me know. But otherwise, it's always a pain. Okay, so we're going to create a module, and it's called interior module. And we're going to set this to exterior. And then we're going to go over here. We're going to create the same module here, and we're going to call this one interior. So when you're in the build screen and you're switching from interior and exterior, that's what's actually swapping back and forth is this. And the reason that this is cool is because then we're going to make this 4, and we're going to make this 4, is that you can actually then put things inside your rockets when you're building them. And that's what we're going to do. Our interior is going to be -4, and this is going to be -4. There we go. So in the build screen, you're going to see the interior, and in the game, you'll see the exterior. So that's cool. So in the interior, we have the fuel tank, and this is just something everyone tends to do. So I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go, what is I got my darker one here. There we go. Here. Oh, shoot. What did I just darken? Oh, no, I did it right. And we're going to go here, and we're going to pick the darker. And then we go like this. We're going to hide the exterior for right now, and it ends up looking dark like this. So that's going to be when you're building stuff. If you say bring in the abort engine like this, it now sits in front. When you bring the exterior toggle in, it now sits behind. Pretty cool. So that's how you do that. And the reason we're doing that is because we want to actually put the engines underneath the actual exterior part. Now, when we're doing this, there's a couple things we need to do. We need to change these parts to non-colliding parts because we don't want them to collide with anything. That causes a lot of problems. So avoid collisions, always good. And in the exterior, we also want to do non-colliding parts. Fun note, if you don't do this, when you toggle to the exterior, they actually become active hitboxes. So you can clip, no clip. It's very odd. It causes a lot of, I'm going to use the word problems. So there we go. Now I'm going to go back here and I'm just going to grab, because I have it already, a little piece of code. Or I guess that's not a code. EDS payload. Nope, that doesn't have it. This has it. One of the sides. Okay. There we go. Copy that. So this is a side, and we're going to then bring it back to our spacecraft. And we're doing the service module, and we're going to paste it in here, like so. So this is just a side. The reason we have this is because this is actually a hit box. And we're going to bring that up to here. And that's all come down. Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. All right, we'll bring that down here to about right there. Okay, we're going to call this, we'll say 0. We're going to generate mesh. We're going to pick the, no, where is it? There it is. Is that it? No, purple. I don't know why I make these things purple, I just do. And then we're going to call this flat. I should probably change it from the purple, but color is right. No, it doesn't matter. I want flat anyway. There we go. All right, and 0.01, so it's not in the way of anything. Generate the mesh. And we're just going to post it here. 1.75, like so. We're going to then, what is it, 0.45? There we go. 5 like that. And then we hit generate mesh, and that's our impact. So this is here. We're going to go side 2, doesn't matter. And then we're going to go here, like so. Delete the negatives, generate mesh. Okay, so in the build screen, you're going to see something that looks like this, which is quite good. And then we're going to go and take the top fuel tank, or take the top fuel tank here, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go 0.2. No, that's just making it look bad. Yeah, we're just going to leave that capsule all the way. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Basic. I'm just going to do it this way. It's a little bit cleaner. Okay. So we're doing that. And this actually here is a no. We did it wrong. I did it wrong. Sorry, my bad. We're going to bring that out. Okay. This is going to be 0. So it's going to be white. So there we go. And then, yeah, so these don't actually have to be all the way up. They only need to go to about right there. And this one only needs to go to about right there. There we go. And then what we're going to do is take this fuel tank here, toggle this, and we're going to bring that down to right there. Generate that, and we're just going to call this one here basic metal 4. Smooth, flat smooth, always, like so. Okay, and then we take this fuel tank here, copy that, paste it here, and then I need to go back and I'm going to call this the bottom fuel tank. bottom fuel tank. All right. And the reason we're doing this is because in exterior mode, it's going to look like that. And in interior mode, it's going to look like this, -4. And then we pick our darker color. There we go. I need to change the size so they're not like that. Oh, what is the number? 0.4. Generate the mesh there. And 0.4. Generate the mesh there. Okay, so now we have it where we can pocket our engines. So we're going to take our abort engine and we will put it in about right here. So when we put the exterior back on, that's what it's going to look like. And that is a lot closer to looking like that than it is. Although it's looking like I need to bring it over. How? Maybe -1. Okay, and then we do that. Okay, so that probably works. So if we go back to our Starliner construct, what do we say? We have 1.5, so we're going to go 1 and -1. And then we want this only -1.5 and -1.5. There we go. So that's our Starliner capsule all put together. Obviously, we need to make it look nice and make sure it's working. So to make it working, we need to add the RCS systems back in and make them look nice. And then we also need to add that covering. I'm going to make it a texture that you can add to this section right here. And we have to make the top part here where it opens and closes or splits. So there you go. How do you delete a custom surface? That's pretty simple. There's two ways of doing it depending on what you're trying to do. If we go here, obviously you can just delete the nozzle or delete whatever surface that you have. You can just delete it. Like if you have a legacy separation surface somewhere around here. Don't know why it's at -3, but okay. Like here, you can just delete it in the code. You can also delete up here by just going here and saying remove component. So there's a couple ways of doing that. I actually have to fix this up. So I don't actually need the legacy separation surface anymore. I do want this. This is important. I started adding this into some of the engines because I saw some people doing some really, I don't want to say stupid stuff, but definitely things I wasn't expecting them to do. So I've added in a little piece of separation code at the bottom of my engines. Basically all this does, and it's not a drag surface, is when you start up the engine, here you toggle it, it detaches that nozzle thing. So if you have anything sitting at the bottom of the engine, as soon as you turn the engine on, it detaches from that. And that's useful because I've seen some people where they stick the engines in weird spots and then they try to run it and then the engine's stuck to stuff. And it's like, they're like, I don't understand why my rocket's exploding. Well, the engine is stuck to the side of the fuel tank. So that's what happened. Things explode when you turn the rockets on and it's attached to the front of the side of the fuel tank. And I need another one, but this is not detached, so I can get rid of the detach code like so. Remove, and this is the top attach surface. And this one here is just going to go to the top. It's going to go to 0. I want to go to 0, 0. Okay. All this is supposed to do is attach the top of the, whoops, come on. Top of the engine so that the top of the engine will actually attach the stuff. Yay. So there we go. We got our little penguin engine so far. What else do we need? Oh, I got this ring. I don't think I need the ring for the engine. Again, if we look at, no, I didn't want to start up that one. If we look at the RS, there's no ring. There's nothing on it. It's gonna go here. There's no ring. There's nothing. It's like there's this stuff at the top, so we could potentially do that. So let's put the ring at the top like that and make it a little bit wider. Yeah, let's see if we can do it. All right, so this ring's gonna go up here, like so. all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. There we go. And then we're going to make it smaller, super small, and apparently horribly broken. I don't know why there's two of these things. That's just asking for trouble. So we're going to delete one. There we go. Delete the wrong one. Of course we did. And then we're going to go to here like so. And we know this guy here just basically flares out. So we're just going to, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Go all the way to the bottom. To the bottom with you. There we go. Okay. Generate. And then where'd our ring go? We're going to generate a mesh here, and it's going to make a giant mess. Of course it is. Say one, generate mesh. All right. Get rid of most of this thing here because it's just a little thing. We're going to add our, because we said the penguins had a little bit of white in them, right? So we're going to put that in here. Gotta watch out for this center. Sometimes you have that little center marker and you want to move something that's not the center. You gotta really fight for it. There. Bring it down to about, I think right there. And we're gonna bring it out like so. Then we're going to find the generate mesh code, and that looks kind of, not sure I like that. Am I really adding value by doing that? Yes, this is our basic turbo machinery. It's not crazy, but then this engine, most of its turbo machinery is actually hidden within like the actual engine. Oops, so 6.9, nope, 6.8, almost 6.7. There we go. 7.5. Again, it's one of those things of you can spend a lot of time doing stuff like this. So close. 6.7.7. Probably too far. Yep. No, the little details no one is ever going to notice ever. But there we go. And let's see what else we got here. If we look at our picture again. Yeah, that doesn't look like the picture at all. We put that ring in the totally wrong spot. That's a rip. Where are we here? This ring should be at the top here. All right. Do that. This one here, make it. Not gonna let me do what I want. 0.3, 0.3. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's why. I did that, and then everything just went bah. All right. So we're almost here to the engine. Okay. And then I want to go up a little bit more. I just want to go up, not a full one. What's that distance? 5. Generate. 3-5. Nope. 3-1. 3-1. There we go. Still not 100% sold on that. So one of the advantages, Prime, to doing the advanced texture trick is that you can actually create like some really cool advanced textures. The downside to that, however, is that you can then not later use the skin module on advanced textures, which probably in this case is not a big deal. Um, but for a lot of other things, I don't like using it if I don't need it. So put that in there like so. And there. Yeah, so this is going to be behind because this nozzle actually moves. And we're just going to find the moving throttle. I actually have to go through here and double check all this stuff here. But if we go 1, apply animation, it's going to go like that. Okay, so this guy here needs to be higher. What is he actually set to? Well, he's set to 0. That's an easy one. 1. All right, so the engine is going to do that. So we need to just bring in the engine slightly so that it doesn't cross the threshold. Oh, look at that. So that's 1. If you turn the other direction, where are we here? Oh, I'm not in the right spot. This is -1. Apply that. There we go. And we can go here 0. Apply animation. Super. So that is good. Yay. So that's going to be our little abort engine. We have the flame. Now this flame does not look anything like that actual abort engine flame. Not even anywhere close, which I should have looked at before. So we're going to say goodbye to the flame. I just deleted the whole flame. Bye, it's gone. You are the weakest link. We're going to bring in our little flame to there. We're going to bring our hitbox here. We're going to say 1. And how long is it? Oh, it is far too long. We're going to say 3. And we're going to go negative 1.5. There we go. I think it doesn't need to be any more than that. And we need to go find an actual flame that looks like this, or at least closer to this. Definitely closer to this. All right, so again, I could remake the flame from scratch, but I don't really want to do that in this live stream because we don't have too much time left tonight. So we're gonna go back to the engines and find an engine that has a yeah, none of these equal engines. The Osprey engine I think is probably our closest. So we have the Osprey, we have this guy here. I think this guy here is a little bit different. No. We have, this is just the Valiant, or not Valiant, sorry. Yeah, this is my weird little test engine I was messing around with, trying stuff out. You know what? We're just gonna take this guy's good enough. Let's just take it. Flame holder. Yep. New flame. Yeah, that's what we're taking. So we're gonna copy the flame holder. We're gonna go back to our spacecraft and find our engine here, the abort engine, and we're going to go here and we're going to paste it, flame holder. We're then going to move it into the nozzle, like so, and then we need to go and find out where it is, and we're going to go 0, and we're going to go 0.25, no, negative 0.5, nope, aha, 7.5. 7.5. All right, well, nothing is lined up. Perfect. That's always the best engines when they don't line up at all. All right, so the flame holder changes this from 0 to what? 10. Oh, it changes the new flame to 0 to 10. Right. Oh, that's probably not good. So we're just going to change that. All right. Do that. And over here on new flame, we're going to change this to 1. And we're going to change this to 1. Okay, so it's not terrible. 2? No. 3. 4. I can count to 4. 4. There we go. And then we're going to grab our flame holder here, and we're going to go zoop to about right there. Okay, so that's what the flame currently looks like. Obviously, I need to fix all this here. This here is the heat holder. Heat, this is active, right? Yeah, so that's the heat hitbox. And this is the heat holder. If I go here to 0.5, what do I end up with? Oh, shoot, I forgot to put the code back in. Right, I did not update that at all. So what do we decide? 0.3, 3, edit key 2.5, and then here, edit key, whoops, 3, there we go. And if we apply it now it's somewhat in the right spot. But it's not. It's got this weird 0.5 thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if this is gonna go like this, oh, that's a problem. Right. I need to fix this. Mm-hmm. What if we go to flame holder and move that? No, it's doing the same thing. Okay. Cool. So we'll have to fix that so the flame doesn't look absolutely stupid when it turns on. But for right now, if we go here to 1, let's just play with what the flame looks like at full. 0. 5. Negative 0.75. Nope. 6. 6. Okay, so if we go back to our spacecraft, this is what we end up with so far. And I think that's probably we're going to get to tonight on this stream. Basically, right now, what we need to do is, is we're trying to build the Starliner here and put all the pieces together. Obviously, in here, we do need to go to the service module. Now, I do have all the RCS system engaged, but it's got the ESDM one, so I have to put that in and change that around. And then on the Starliner itself, all the code is there. I just have to build the top part. Now, the question for the group here is, do I want this to split apart or do I want it to open up when it's clicked? Because it's basically, that's all it does, is it basically reveals the docking port. That's it. That's all. That's everything. So yeah, right now this is what it looks like. It's a bit of a mess because I have to fix where all the RCS controls are, because the RCS controls, if we go back to here and we zoom in here, we have, so RCS we have right here coming out of the actual capsule itself. There's up and sideways, sideways. And then from the unit itself, there is jets along the side here, but there's basically a jet here, a jet here. And I don't know what this top part is. I don't know if that's a jet or not. I'm going to have to look that up. But the idea being is that these RCSs push the engine back. These ones turn it side to side. And then you use the thrusters to move the rocket forward. At least that's what I think we're going to do, and go with that. So Prime is saying he wants this version to split. Okay, so I can do that. So by doing that, I'm just going to put in some split code. It's actually really easy to do. And then, you know what, we'll take 2 seconds, we'll shove this on top of the Atlas, and we're going to launch it. It's not going to perfectly work because it's not quite done yet, but at least show that it's not in complete and utter disaster mode. All right, so we have the hatch. We're going to do this. Double the hatch. I'm going to go hatch left. Hatch right. This is really easy split code to do. We're going to then go and go 1, apply. That is the right side. Left side is going to be -1, like so. Boom. So this is actually now 2 pieces, even though it looks like 1 piece. We're gonna just double check everything here is the right. Yeah, so it's everything's good. There's no attachment surfaces on these because they don't attach. Oh no, we do need to attach. I need an attachment surface if I'm going to do this properly. Okay, attach surface. All right, and that attachment surface we're going to 0, 0, 0. Let's see how fast I can do this. All right, custom surfaces, and it's going to go from -1, 0, 1, 0. And you can see it right here. Ooh, ah. And we got left, right. So we're going to turn off the attachment surfaces here because we don't want them to attach anything. And then we're going to go to the cover and we're going to create a split code. So we're going to call it split module. And then we need the effect module. Effect module. There we go. The split module is just going to pick the Starliner cover. We're going to create this fragment. We're going to go left and we're going to disable the right side. And then we're not going to have an attachment surface for it because it's not attaching to anything. No, not happening. We're also going to disable the attachment surface. There we go. Separation force, it's going to be going to the left. So the left is negative. And we're going to say -10. And we're going to say 1 just so it pops up and off. Why? Because it's what I'm going to do today. And this is going to be right. And it's going to be obviously the left hatch is going to get deleted. There you go. And the surface as well. And here we're going to go 2010, and it's going to pop off to the other side. Now, we're not going to show it in description because we don't need to show it in description. And it's not going to be necessarily a fairing. There we go. And we're good. We don't actually have to do anything here, but you do need to put force multiplier 1. Awesome. On deploy, we're going to then deploy the hatch, and we're going to deploy the effect module, and we're going to spawn. And what we're going to spawn, we're going to spawn the cover. We're then going to go down here. We're going to also pick the cover like so, and we're going to sit 0 seconds. This is important. 0 seconds. If you don't, it creates some weird fictional thing hiding in the background that doesn't exist, and everything jams up on it. It's weird. Very, very weird. Okay, so with that, we're going to double check. That is going to go into our spacecraft. This is going to go into our spacecraft. This is going to go into our spacecraft, although I am going to spacecraft. I'm just going to jump in here for 2 seconds and turn the RCS system to off. We don't need it. It doesn't work. So let's not have it. So spacecraft, 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 and we're just going to take this guy and we're just going to throw him into spacecraft as well. And we're just going to go here and we're going to move him from engines over to what I say, 6 wide. Yeah, we'll put him in 6 wide. Okay. So with all that done, we're going to try to put this into the game. It's going to create a little mod thing. I don't actually have it, so we're just going to call it PSI, and we're going to call this spacecraft. And this is version 0.0.1 because we're just starting off. We don't have any pack data, so we're just going to call it spacecraft. And I'm just going to go blah, blah, whoops, and PSI, done. Awesome. And we're going to grab our pack, which is spacecraft. We're going to grab the 2 different things. We're going to hit build. Don't need to add any DLLs to it, so we're good. And we're going to put this into the game and see if it works. And by work, I mean there's still parts that we're missing, but close enough that we should be able to put this whole thing together and launch it on Atlas V into space. And then I will, over the next week, with the other capsules I'm making, make it look nice. And probably next Wednesday we'll have a stream where we'll come back and we'll put the finishing touches on it. So if you guys join back then, you guys can give me some really good artistic advice. So we got the pack data here. I'm going to grab the spacecraft from the mod builder and I'm going to move it over to the parts, which is Spaceflight Simulator, Spaceflight Simulator game, mods, custom parts. I'm going to paste it in here like so. I'm going to go Spaceflight Simulator and hope that I didn't have any horrible errors that's going to cause me problems. Because obviously you just saw me make everything here. Okay, so far so good. So far so good. Continue build. So far so good. We're going to go to 6 wide. Oh ho ho! We have a pile of random pieces. Alright, so we have the engine. Woo! There we go. And it doesn't have an attachment surface, so we boo-booed on that already. Yep. Cool. That's a mistake. But that's okay. Alright, so we have that. We have this piece here. Yep, it goes right there. We have that goes right there. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, so that's our first mistake of the day. But you know what? That's okay. I will fix that later. No, wait, that should have worked. What does it look like in Unity? Oh, yeah, okay. That definitely didn't work. Okay. So we're going to go and just put a little cheat on here, part clipping. So I will fix that in a bit. But for right now, that's what it is. And for some reason, it's too big as well. That heat shield does not like me. Well, there you go. Fixed it. Actually, I could probably just fix it this way. Let's just do that. This is probably not going to work at all. That heat shield needs to actually sit on that point. Okay, cool. So yeah, so we have this cool thing and we have the top. We're going to put the top on. Oh, the top fits. Well, that's good. And then we got to see if we can find the engines. There's one engine. Okay. Put there. Other engine, we're going to put there. We're going to move this whole thing up a bit, like so. Yeah, because what we need to do is we actually still have to build some pieces to make this all fit together. Yeah, this gets the point. We're going to launch here. This is the Centaur. There we go. That's what we want. Okay, so this needs. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Nothing fits together. Okay, so I want build grid 0.25. Let's see. For some reason that's not even close. Okay. There's always ways to fix everything, people. And that is not it. But it's close enough. Alright, there's an engine. There's an engine. Here's a heat shield. You know what? Let's get rid of the heat shield. No, let's not get rid of the heat shield. Let's put this on. Let's see if we can get that there. Okay. The heat shield needs to go in there. So it needs to go, whoops. There. And then it needs to go right about there. Okay. We're going to put top back on. We're going to toggle here so it looks like that. Okay. We're going to go to fairings for a second. No, we won't be able to fit the fairing in. So I got to make these engines smaller, like thinner. They're too wide because there's supposed to be a fairing that goes in right here. Goes in like this. I think these. Hang on, let's just do it. No, that's not what I want. Yeah, so that's what I need to do. Oops. And this is actually a normal process to go through when building stuff, because what it looks like in the game versus what it actually ends up being in Unity isn't always exactly the same. You need to figure out how everything goes together. And then we need to go here to fairings, because there's supposed to be a giant stinking fairing on this thing. There we go. Why, I don't know, but it's there, and we're just going to tilt it up like that. There we go. That's what it's kind of half supposed to look like. Yeah. Let's just do that. It's probably going to explode in our face. Let's be honest. Oh, shoot. I gotta turn this off. Okay. So we're going to see if we can just put it into orbit. Is the flow on the module on the Penguins local? Oh, that's not good. That means the engine's not going to pull gas from the fuel tank. Oh well. This is so broken. I'm going to be impressed if this A gets to orbit, B separates, and C doesn't explode. I'm pretty sure the fairing on the bottom is going to cause the engines to explode. Yeah, so it's there. So that fairing at the bottom is supposed to reduce drag, but I'm gonna need to like build a specific fairing for that because when this goes, it's probably gonna take the engines with it. This is gonna be interesting to see if this actually works. You know, if the top cover works, we're gonna call it the win. How about that? Is that acceptable? It's a win if the top cover pops off. So yeah, so we're just burning the rest of the fuel off as we're going up into the atmosphere here. You can see here that we're well on our way with 40% fuel, so we won't really need to use the oh, right, I didn't adjust the weights or anything. There's weights and stuff, so yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But this gives you an idea what you can do in about an hour and a half, while also talking to people and half reading the chat, seeing what else is there. So, whoo, this is going to be pretty good. Yes, October 7th is coming up. We're still not 100% sure exactly what's going to be released / launched. I did get a bit of an unintentional preview of stuff coming up, so I've been relatively quiet on it, but to say the least, what I've seen is actually pretty cool, so I'm hoping it all comes out on the 7th. So that's what my hope is, but we'll see what they have in the bank. All right, so we're out of fuel. We're going to eject that out, and we have the dual Centaur, and the reason we have the dual one is because, yeah, the launch is not the single, it's the dual one. There is two you can toggle back and forth in the pack, and then at some point we're gonna do that. Oh, it ejected, it didn't explode. Woohoo! Oh, that's a win. So you know, so Penguin is asking in the chat, do I listen to music? And the answer is yes. Yes, I do listen to music. Type of music I have a couple different musics that I use, a couple different services. Depends on what I'm feeling like. Some of them are more annoying and then less. But I also have some custom music as well. So it depends on what I feel like. And so far we're doing pretty good. I think we're not even in orbit. We got to put this in orbit. We're just flying around like crazy. Actually, you know what? Probably putting it into orbit's a bad idea because I did want to test the ejection system, which I'm almost certain does not work right now. And then see if we can bring this to Earth and burn it up in the atmo. So we're just going to do this. Close enough to say we can reach orbit with it. We're going to tap this, and it ejected. Oh, we're doing good. We're going to tap that, saying cannot deploy the parachute. I don't want the parachute. I want this thing. Nope. Oh, I forgot to put the split code in. All right, so super cheaty way of solving that problem. Welcome to what you can do in mods. We're going to go back here to the ejection system. We're going to add the code in. There we go. And we're going to go split. We're going to, oh, I got to pack data, 11111. Don't care. So one of the funny things you can do if you're doing modding is that you can actually go and just jump back out, make the change to the part, jump back in, and the part has the change. This works for most stuff. But if you do have variables, it will not update the variable to the new variable if you change like a variable number or something like that, because that is an initiated point. Whereas anything else that's not like a variable automatically changes. So you're gonna see that here. This is amazing that you can do this. Saves you a lot of time if you're testing stuff, so you don't have to launch like multiple craft. So all I did was change the pack. I went back into Spaceflight Simulator. I'm going to go and resume the game. Yeah, I forgot to make it toggle. I'm going to pick the right world. Here we go. And instead of build a new rock, I'm going to hit resume game. And we're back here in the game. I can click it, toggle it like this, and go boop. And it exploded. Did it shoot the pieces out at high speed? Where are we here? Yeah, that's what it did. So that number is way too fast. So it works, it just shot it out so fast that we didn't see it. All right, so we're gonna turn the engine on. Nope, the engines work properly. Now these are our abort engines, so I'm gonna have to play around with them because I want them to show. I want them to be like this when it's at low power, and then at high power I want like really crazy, because these are designed to abort the rocket, so you're not really supposed to run them at like 100% because they will run out of fuel so fast. All right, now let's see. Can I get this thing to detach? Is it going to detach? It's not going to detach, is it? Nope. All right, well, that's unfortunate. We're going to speed that up. So normally we would detach at this point, but yeah, we can't detach because it's not lined up. Yeah, the penguins are incredibly powerful for such a small little engines. So we're going to do that. And there's no heat shield. Oh no, it has a heat shield. It's just super thin, right? Because I had to make that change. So it's going to go all the way down. So this is good. Woo! So we'll be able to land this really, really broken Starliner. With the thinnest heat shield in the world. Oh, jeez. But it has all the rest of the code from Orion, so it should work. The parachute system is in there. So we'll pop the parachute out, and you can see this is kind of neat. There we go. Parachute deployed. And then we'll fly down to Earth. Now this is the drag chute. It doesn't really slow the craft down that much. As you can see here, we're still going well above 10 meters per second, which is not a good velocity to hit the ground. But when we get to about, I think it's 750. I might be wrong, but I think it's 750. The drag chute will be detached, and the yeah, I made it toggleable. Yeah, I just added in, like, that's what you do. Like, you just go back out and you go, whoop, there we go. And then we have the other 3 chutes come out, and this is about the power of 3 parachutes. In version 5 of my utility pack, that those 3 parachutes are coming out as their own separate chute system. So that's going to be, I think people are going to have fun with that. And boom, we've landed. We've made it to the ground, and we can hit recover, and we can say yay. Semi-successful mission once we sort of fix the one problem we had. Oh, how NASA would love to be able to do that. Just like, oh, we have a problem. Hang on, let's just fix it. And it magically fixes itself in space. So, so still some work to do on the Starliner. I have to add in the RCS system. I have to make it look nice. So people won't complain on the forums that it looks like this. But that's sort of how we build Starliner and the pieces that we're going to have. So once I finish this up, this will be available in the spacecraft pack coming up. As I said, I'm looking to make about 6, maybe 7 capsules, or more accurately, human landing devices. I don't know what you want to call it. I guess they're all called capsules. So they're various sizes. And then I'm going to have the landers. 2 of them are coming from the contest results. And then I have 1 from Apollo, One is going to be the Altair-ish one that was dreamed up for Spaceflight Simulator, the Space Launch System. And then I've got two other ideas that I want to build based off of Martian ideas that I've seen that I thought were cool. And those will be coming in the pack. And then in later, and I think this is probably going to be in November, the pack is also going to be updated with a whole bunch of satellites. So things like the James Webb, Hubble, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to pick probably, again, 5 or 6 of them and actually make them into like individual single parts, depending on how the update goes. And that will allow you to then do accurate mission launches for those who really want to get into doing all those recreations. So I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time today to watch this and get an idea. If you have any ideas, comments, etc., let me know here or in the Discord forum. Again, I do take people's feedback very serious, and as you saw here, now this thing is called the Kevin Penguin Engine. I have no problem with giving people their due and saying, hey, you came up with a cool idea, boom, let's name something and throw it in the game for you. So you're immortalized as the Kevin Penguin Engine, although it's going to be slightly thinner because we found out once we put everything together that it needs to be. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and 1.6, we'll hope to see it very, very soon. Thank you very much. And yeah, astronauts. We really want those astronauts.